Hello everyone! We're going to have some talks because today I remember that I was on Monday, not really like posting or anything, because I was trying Twitch. And hear me out, whether you want it or not, I tried Twitch and I'm just gobsmacked. I tried Twitch because I wanted to try how VTubers act on Twitch because I thought it was a little bit different, but I kid you not, it's kind of different. It's a lot different. All I know, I'm on Cy Lily's like bloody goddamn, on her bloody like live, and I'll kid you not, get this. I went on her live, and at the same time, she was in the bathroom, right? She was in the bathroom. While she's in the bathroom, she just leaves a sound effect of like farting and everything, and I just see the note on the forehead of like her model, and I'm like, oh, that must be nothing. And I'm just like, it's probably nothing, right? Like a normal person would be like, oh yeah, so she has that note, I should probably be thinking, oh yeah, maybe she's occupied right now. And instead, it says not to like raise the music or the volume, and then I raised the volume. I did what I was not supposed to. Did I regret my mistake? Yes. Was I really terrified? Yes. I also tried Shadow's like live. I was sitting there, and while he was like talking about like some kind of like horror game that he was playing, he was the passenger, and it was pretty much that experience that I was just sitting there and I was like, oh, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna show you, especially because I have some screenshots. Don't mind that screenshot. I remember that you can see how much art I have, yada yada. You see me, there you go. Where's the screenshots? I will kid you not, I actually saw it and I was like really gobsmacked. Don't mind that, that's for more future characters. Where is it? I know yesterday, even when I was going on YouTube, you won't believe this. When I was going on YouTube, and this is also like a video how I was drawing each Monster High character. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I'll kid you not, this is what I see. I see Chibi, like the VTuber, or aka VLive 2D, her model, and I see her just like with this terrible, terrifying monstrosity of a food choice. Like, would you eat this if I served you it? Don't be a maniac to say yes, I would eat it. It's flesh off. Cause that is just another horror movie. And then I'll show you like here I was here shocked because I have a different like little private account where I actually subscribe to a few VTubers. Yeah, I have a private account because I don't want some people are gonna be questioning why do I have so much stuff that I watch. And I was terrified by my own thing. If you guys see that, I feel sorry for you. Cause that's the thing. I'm always bonkers and I'm always like cray cray. And then look what you see. You see this. You see this next to Digital Circus. Like, I saw this next to Digital Circus, and I was really terrified by that. Because I was like, are you telling me I'm just like goddamn Pomni? Or am I Jax from this goddamn point of view? And yeah, I also found this like hot guy, because he was on really, oh, kid, you know, I was on Twitch, and I saw him, and I was like, not even Twitch, was it? It was Twitch. I went on Twitch, and I was like, oh, I don't understand what he's saying, but he's attractive. And then here you see that I was on like Chodo's live, and I was of course like sneaking picking. And then I joined this one. This one was so freaking noisy. It was so noisy. All I see is this like, hi, and I hear people saying hello. I hear everything going on around me. And then this is the one I'm talking about. I was in this live and I was so terrified because I was so gobsmacked because I thought it was going to be nothing, right? I thought it's gonna be normal, and then it turned out I joined at the same time, but it shows this not to actually have the volume on. I turn on the volume. You know I'm going to do the worst choices ever. And then I can see just this, a bunch of stuff. Here you see it's my model. I'm planning it for another, like, probably here I'm going to plan it, so I can read like horror stories for you guys and everything. Because I really like reading, okay? I like reading a lot. This is why I made her, so yeah, we're cute. And this is like the character I'm planning. I'm also planning this character because I'm planning to maybe sell pngtubers. Maybe. And you can see here like the general stuff that I have. Don't ask why this looks like Gojo. There's no reason. But you see here I was mostly looking at like some, and then here like I think it was the drama that I was looking at, like twisty or yada yada. Look at Yala. One Piece reality, guys. yeah, that's pretty much what you have. You have here seal body that I'm planning an animation meme. Why? Because that actually helps me going on that account to actually do what I'm supposed to do. Here you have the model. Here you see I had more inspiration for characters. Here I was laughing because it was like Crocodile Day, aka Crocodile from like One Piece. I can even show you because this is mostly a recording I did while doing so. Let me move this. Don't mind why there's a question about what's hedonistic. I was really curious and I was watching a video about psychology. And also I was watching a video about some characters. For example, I don't remember the characters. I think it was some kind of character that was really important that I was actually looking at what was hedonistic. I'm going to show you Crocodile. Crocodile, you know what we should do? I should do at the same time as we have that. You'll see like how I was drawing it. For now I wanted to talk. Let me just jambalaya. Here you can also see like I was doing also how I redrew a couple of characters that were actually Monster High dolls. This one mostly was, I think, Cleo Denial. Why? Because when I was a little kid and I was 12 or 11 years old, I really liked Monster High. This is why you can see that my character is inspired as a fairy, because there's no reason for Fairy Tail, because I know there's an anime about that. I haven't watched Fairy Tail. I can't tell you my opinion about it. Also, I'm debating if not to go and make another live where I just like explore different type of VTubers online while on Twitch, which could be interesting. However, I'm also taking the fact that I don't want to be a like Bakayaka or a Strumpet every time going in their content and being like, hello, hello, ahoy there. I don't feel like doing such a nabby thing. I feel like a nagger. And yes, I just came from a video of watching like Porcelain Maid, so I might be a little bit sassy or passy. Cause I'll show you the video I was watching. Yes, I watched this one where he was forcing his like artist to actually draw, and he keeps calling them, what was it? He calls them something. Wow, where is it? Porcelain? Lazar. Yeah, but in other words, it was here that I think he said something about dolls. You might hear his voice. I want him to actually have a lower voice. You don't need to hear. His voice is too powerful, guys. You can't handle it. I know he does call them something. Why is there a twerking one? But look at how beautiful the art is, and also like, oh my god, I love it. Why is she twerking? That's terrifying. I think I'd be terrified. I don't know how usually these like VTubers do this. Like I can't for the life of me even try. Why is there Brock? Brock also just kind of left some 9 siblings of them. Gairu, and then you see yeah, you see my interests have kind of changed. Like a lot changed. I'm definitely not watching Demi and then like her videos about Gordon Ramsay. And I totally did not have a freak out zone where I was like, why are some VTubers so really good compared to me? And you can see that here, like, you have a channel. But you can see that I was having my prono zone again, or rather, I was having the dilemma, why am I subscribed to a few of them? And I'm like, okay. And I had to clean out my TikTok people who I actually subscribe to. aka follow, depending how you guys say it. Look how pretty he looks, oh my god! He reminds me of Attack on Titan, that girl with the hat, where is that? Straw hat. It's not One Piece, no, it's not One Piece. It was this one. He reminds me of this one. See what I mean? What was it? What is her name? I forgot. But yeah, I mean like this girl. I forgot her name is. I forgot because I'm not a big fan of like AOT, I can't say. My sister's a bigger fan. She knows every single character. You ask her to the bottom, to the left, to the right. She will actually answer every single ask you have about any character. Like, I can't do that! I don't know any of the characters that well. I know a couple of them. I can't tell you all of them. So don't ask me about Attack on Titan characters. I have a plushie of Eren, I know. And I have another one. I have a plushie of... Who else do I have plushie? Levi Ackerman, because I bought him. I'll show you the exact plushie I had. I'm dying. Help me. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm not dying. But I think eBay, Levi plushie. Not this one. I didn't buy any of these. It's the one that is in UK because I can't buy anything internationally. It's too much bucks, okay? I have not this one with the biggest forehead ever. It looks like you can draw on it. I know some people said that about Nico Robin or some other character in Attack on Titan. My blush is not here. Because I don't have any of these. I have an older one. Something like this, except the forehead is not that huge. Does Levi have such a big forehead? That's the biggest question. And I also have a little figurine like this. And I'm also planning a little room. I think I can show you the room if I... Wait a second. I should be able to change the room. You might see the little tab for a moment. Where is it? I had it saved somewhere. I don't know where. Wait, I should have it on Krita. I know I have a lot of stuff on Krita. Don't mind it. Okay, let's go here. I can't show you my manga. Hell no. You don't get my manga, not you. I haven't finished everything. Where is it? Oh, Sakalaka Boom Boom. Where is it? That's my texture that I never used for Live 2D. I have a room. I swear to God, I do have a room somewhere here. I'm gonna show you how it looks. So far, I think I have finished it. Let me get snip. I should be able to snip it and then show you guys what I actually made. Because I made it over time, but I don't know if you might like it. This is how... No! You don't get to peek at it. You don't get any! You wait for it. I say that. I'm just kidding. I'm not being harsh. And here you can see more of me. I'll finishing off Clear Denial. It'll take a while because I was actually playing around with how I actually do Clear Denial. Because I was debating making her like a little ring on the lip. Because I know back these days is that type of trend. I don't like rings. I don't like piercings. I don't like tattoos. that's my opinion. I don't like any of those. I am a person who does not like it. But where is it? I need to put the room on and you can guys see what I made. Okay, wait. I think it might be my screenshots now. Let's go down. This should be. Ta-da! I have a room! Are you guys happy for me? I have a room now. So yeah, I got on with making a room, and you can see that I also use like a little bit of Tokoyami in the back, where you should be able to see my mouse. I don't know if you can. I'm not gonna try. I keep wondering to watch this merge, because it doesn't show me what I've merged. You can see all I'm using, and that's my room. I need to adjust my lighting now, because I look kind of out of place here. I also have leg tracking, although I'm not gonna hear anything if I actually walk away. Can I upgrade my lighting effects? There we go. I don't know. I think the light would be on the side like that. And we're gonna shadow blur. Yes. Strength, very strong. Outline size. We don't need an outline. Water animation. What's water animation? It's supposed to be water animation. I don't know what's the difference between them. There's a light cube. La la. Oh, never mind. There we go. See? You have a light cube that goes around like your own character, which is actually really cutie patootie. Can I make it a little bit darker? I feel like it'd be bluer. Yeah, we have that. There we go. That is closest to the mood we're getting. But in other words, that's what we got. See? I have my little room, and I also added my little figurines that I do have in real life. And you can see them at the back. Oh my god, look at my tattoos. My tats are actually glowing. And yes, I made it mostly for here, that you can see the tattoos on my character. Why? Because I felt like my character would probably have them if I'm doing opposites. Why did I do opposites, you might ask? Because it's better than me just having it. That boom, you'd have this and that. And also, you can see that I'm blocking the screen, but I think it's fine. And that's pretty much what I have to show, because I actually made a room for myself, so that way I can actually talk to you guys easier. And I don't have the risk of you guys being like, why is her room like this, and why is her room like that? You can see the background, like some animes that I'm watching, or try to read at least, or at least had them read to me. And you can see a few at the back. Have I read Attack on Titan? No. What else? Yeah, I have probably read a few of them. You can see the statues that I do have. I think I can show you the statues. There you go. You guys won't see me from it. Here you have the Armin statue. Here I have a Levi statue, except you can't see it very well. But I can show you. No, I'm not gonna show you. But that's pretty much it. I've had so many things done for myself because usually I had also this thing that some TikTok person furry was actually talking about asking me for a commission, and they asked me, and they were kind of a little bit pressuring, which I don't really appreciate, because they were like, why can't you buy it? I'm like, I'm not gonna buy something you're offering me when I can draw it myself, buddy. But it was pretty much the conversation that I didn't know them. That's pretty much what was happening. You can also see it's going for my tattoos. Oh no! Look, I can have blue now. But generally, I made my, if we have to talk about model now, inspiration. My model is a lot different than I am. Why? Because I'll let you know in a little fact. I don't like at all using the whole concept of, let's see, of having tattoos on myself, but my character has tattoos, so it's opposite of me. You can see I have tats, and I also have other features that aren't like me. And I'll let you know on that fact, because we're not having parasocialism here served. No sure. And also, if you had to ask for the design, I mostly mix the newer design with the older design. Why, you might ask? Because I feel like it'd be actually something interesting to mix these two designs that usually, I'll show you. It's this design here, right here, the one on, this one right here is basically the new one. I didn't like the one. I'll tell you a few features I didn't like about the new Cleo de Nau. Well, actually I was drawing the design. Cleo de Nau, she originally had this little gem on her little cheek, as you can see. She had this little gem, which I think was really original, and I really do miss that she used to have this feature, because nowadays she doesn't have this feature, and I think they really lacked on that. When taking away some nostalgia actually ruins a character. I had this ordeal as well, because back then I used to have these bunch of characters that I usually used to draw. I don't draw them anymore. They were mostly two sisters, Yin and Yang, who basically were stuck in their own little worlds, teleported at a different time, and they couldn't find themselves. And if the Yin couldn't find her, if Yin couldn't find Yang, the whole issue would be that our poor Yin would go crazy without Yang, which Yang is actually the positive side. Why I also use this idea in Conquest? So I'm planning this on Conquest. I won't tell you the ordeal, but all you have to get is going to be in Conquest. There's going to be lots of ordeals revealed very soon. And I have to just figure out when to finish off Conquest, because I have so many pages to finish. I was supposed to do Clumsy Me around chapter 12, but I did chapter 15! I don't know what I was preparing for. Clearly the Civil War. But yeah, I have to do that. And I was actually figuring out how to do the strips for Clear the Now. I know in the video, I also show how I actually continue with adding some features. For example, in this here, you can see that while I was doing her eye, I actually fused the two colors that they actually gave. Because originally, they gave her blue eyes back then in Gen 1. But now, in Gen 5, they legit ruin her eyes for yellow, which does not complement, and I'll tell you this, they might have thought that it complemented the look. It doesn't complement the look, I'm sorry, love. It does not complement the look that she has a yellow, accessory in her hair, right? She has an accessory in her hair, and now she has yellow eyes. I don't think that really complements it. Unless you have someone like Nami with brown eyes. You can tell that he has a different eye, unlike his hair color, which doesn't mix up too much. I didn't like that, what they did with her. Same as the little, what's it called? Same for the piercing in the lip. I don't think Cleo would be the type to have any type of golden, hola. I think the hola doesn't make sense, because I don't think in Egypt they usually had something round. They usually had something sharp, like pyramids, Because do you see any pyramid that is circular? I don't think it was much of a good idea that they added that idea, unless she was supposed to be a chain character. I also added the effect that you here have the little symbol, the anahaha, I think, anaha. And if you don't know what it is, I'll show you. It's a protection symbol that I added to her because, there we go, the anakaha. The anakaha is the life and death, which also here, life and death. It's actually the representation for as life and death, and also is some way in the gate. A gate for the life and dead. And you can even say an Egyptian symbol of life. And here you have the whole symbol. You have the star Seba, Anaka, Hathor, Eye of Horus, and you have was scepter, or was, and died, Kontudum, died, and Shah. And here you have the whole symbolism here. But I mostly added this feature because I think it would have made more sense if they added like a hidden feature. And I also made it that here you see I was fixing her lip because I kind of moved her lip because I kind of made her look like her lip just run away from her. Let's not talk about the clip where I was actually playing Stewie kills the Griffins. And it was mostly the game where I just like butchered like Lois, and what happened was that her lips came off her model. It was kind of terrifying, but to be fair, I did like counterattack her. That's why I added a little feature for our lovely Cleo the Nile, because I remember Cleo the Nile when I was actually watching Monster High back then when I was 12, 11, and I was also 10. I used to really know the characters very well. There was also an episode where Cleo the Nile, and this will explain why, if you see on Devon Art or anywhere else where I post her, the two, it's mostly I drew the fact that she has a gray like lip piercing. Why? Because number one, the lip piercing I made gray because that was the only time we saw that Cleo actually was being humble and she was actually being generous. Because she let her friends win, unlike herself. Rather being the sore winner or sore loser, she kept actually trying, but she didn't manage. So eventually she realized her mistake and allowed her friends to win for once, which was actually a generous act. And I also made it a gray because it's most uncommon, and I feel like if we're looking at this perspective, I feel like Cleo the Nile, if she was in Generation 5, she would realize that gold isn't everything and you can't buy money. You can't use money to buy happiness. What I think they lacked, and here you have also another design I was actually doing. I was doing the one for... I'm trying to remember. I was doing for Abby. And here I was doing facts, and you can see I was doing about Cleo and the cat's girlfriends. And I was testing out some few ideas because I was also thinking about the neck ring that some culture has, the Kanan, I think, or Kayan tribe. And in other words, they wear it and they encourage people who actually visit the country to wear the rings. And it's not mostly women that are married that wear these, and they usually also protect women from actually being like attacked by tigers, lions. And I was doing this idea that Toralei, every time she actually hits heads with Cleo the Nile, that actually she would, in a sense, be really upset in one episode. If we considered a future episode, if I was actually doing Monster High and it wasn't like the whole studio that ran it show and they actually do all the characters, I was mostly considering the facts of bringing in some cultures to it. Why? Because I really like culture, exploration. Why? Because mostly I also did geography. And I really enjoyed geography, except I didn't want to do geography anymore because we were doing natural disasters, which did interest me, but not the fact that we would have to tell when exactly it happened, what time, and yeah, it was the whole ordeal. Not all the information I really thought was useful, because first of all, you had to say where it was. I remembered where it was, I didn't remember when it was. For history, it was different. I remembered when it was, but the number of people that died, I did not remember. And the life of me, I could never remember. And you can here see that I was actually doing a lot of like examination while I was actually recording this video. And not this video exactly, but this video right here, which is a pre-recording that I did on me creating like Cleo the Nile. And generally, I was making her because I just like the idea of adding this. And also, I made sure clear that now I was not married, so it didn't make the idea that it was just for this tribe. And I also explored if women of this culture, Kayan, if they usually wear it when they're married, and it's not always. So here I'll just confirm that. And here you can see that mostly I was doing it. But if we skip to it, here I was doing the outfit. When designing outfit, I was mostly looking to make it not too lacking and not to make it too much. Because if I did an overdo of either of the two, it would have made the character all boo-goo crazy. And what I mean by that is, if you have a character and you usually add too much accessories, let's imagine, for example, I don't know, let's imagine we have a character which is a knight, right? We have a character that is a knight. And hear me out. We have a character that is a knight. This character has a cape. They have a cape. They have like these magical, like, I don't know, bracelets. And they have like free necklaces. Okay, that's fine. But if we're adding to that, they have hanaka pants. They have like this tousled, I don't know, blouse, red velvet. Some of those points that I mentioned, you will notice that they overlap and it's too much for the character to handle, and it's also too much for the artist to handle. I faced many times that issue when I was designing characters and other characters in Conquest and other characters in Elsewhere, and I won't claim I'm an expert of this, but I know that there's the experience that when you draw a character, you have to be careful how much accessories you add to it. Even if they have lore, give it to another character. Don't give it to the character you already have. Unless it's going to be a temporary thing. A few characters that I know that had a temporary thing is Midori, Deku Midori. That's one character. There was also Naruto, who always changed weapons. There was also the alpha character, Tanjiro Kamado, I think, from Demon Slayer, who replaces his sword every time he actually broke it. And you can see that the swords don't stick around with him. I've also decided to actually add that feature into Conquest, where we see little hints to Easter eggs about some animes, even animes that don't really go on anymore, or they're already dead fandoms. I usually look into them. Yeah, and I usually look into them, and I'll show you what I go on, because I can't read anime, because my eyes are legit screwed up. Don't ask me to read manga for you. I can't read manga for you. I can't read manga for you. I can read you a story, a bedtime story if you want, but I won't be able to read you anything else. Let me just try. Maybe we can do a little story. I want to do a story. Let's do a story. That's gonna be a cutesy bitsy. I'm thinking. What do I do? Okay, I think we're going to do a little. Let's do a kid story. Kid story. Horror. Not this. To read. Free online. I can read you that story. I can read you a story. I feel like that's gonna be bootsy booty. Come on, let's get a bedtime story. I've sick little stick. Oh, this book is not together. Is it just like that? It is like that. Okay. Just say, guys, snuggle up. It's time to have a reading. And you guys are gonna be like, no! There you go. Read along with the animated book. Story babe. Okay, Ivsiak, Little Stick. Written by Jade Marite. Illustrated by Anthony E. Lee. Ivsak, Little Stick. There once was an old man and an old woman who were not blessed with little ones. The home seemed bare with no children to skitter. Through the kitchen make pillow castles or laugh in the four corners of the cottage. I'll move. The garden felt wintry, with no bright legs dangling from the branches of the tree. No. Old man, said the old woman, I yearn for a son. There is a log in the yard. Will you carve into a boy for us? The old man carved the log into the shape of a boy. It was strong, brown, and solidly built. The old woman wept with happiness when she saw it. She kissed the tip of its nose and placed it in the same cradle she herself had slept in as a child. The next day the log was gone. In its place was a soft, curled, sleeping little human. It had turned into a real boy. His mother called him Ipsak, little stick. There you have the story. Ipsak, little stick, grew with the speed of green leaves in springtime. He spread up like a bold tree, wiry and strong. He had a loving nature, a quick laugh and a clever mind. Yet the house was small for him, and soon the four walls could not contain him. He was mischievous and playful and hung far too often from coat hangers and swung far too often from doors. His parents realized they would need to devise some activities to occupy him, for they could not play with him all day long. What would you like to do during the sunny hours? The parents asked their son. Ipsak knew he was intrigued by the river that ran by the end of the farm. It whispered to him, singing songs of silverfish and yabbies, pebbles and moon swell. "If you make me a boat and an oar, father," said Ipsak, "I can catch you fish for supper." Oh, where's the page? The page on. There we go. Oh, yep, the page is all gone. No. Is it just because of my side? There we go. We should be able to read it. There we go. Let me just lower it for you guys. There it is. I can use the bar. Ipsak, little stick, soon discovered he was a good fisherman, for he was patient and enthusiastic about his new activity. Every evening he brought home one gleaming cod, scaled silver as money for his family to enjoy for dinner. His mother knew that an evil snake lived near to the riverbank, but she knew that her son loved feeling the gentle breeze whisper in his arms and legs as he floated through the damp sunlight, and he loved being old enough to provide food for his family. She had never seen Ipsak so funny, so happy. She thought she could keep him safe. Then, by telling him what she knew. "There is an evil snake who lives in the rushes," she said. "Do not swim to the shore, Ipsak, little stick, unless you hear my own voice calling you." And here you have like a drawn, I think this is Russian. Mama! Oh my god, he kind of looks snaky. Ipsak! Ishrak! That sunset, watching Ipsak. There we go, Ipsak. And his mother returned to the home alone. The walking path that ran through the farm and its shortcomings. It decided to go to the blacksmith. "Blacksmith," said the snake in a growled tone, "I would like a fine voice box, please. Craft me a slim steel voice box in the same shape as Ipsak's mother." The blacksmith carved a new voice box and nestled it in the snake's throat, over her usual one. And here you can see him, fisherman. Now the next day, when Ipsak heard the snake call out, "Ipsak, little stick, swim over to the bulrushes. We can share a cake together." Ipsak did not know it was not his mother. He slid into the water and paddled over, leaning the canoe, bobbing in the center of the river. "Ipsak, Ipsak, Ipsak." The snake was overjoyed. She grabbed Ipsak by the throat and carried him to her home. When the snake arrived at the front door, her daughter, Olinkia, waited. She was a sleek and muscled reptile who was often mistaken for an eel. Her skin was fiery red and her two long fangs gleamed. "Pull this boy in the oven," the snake said to Oglena. "I will tell our guests to come and feast on chad with us." Here you can see that he's hiding away from these predatory monsters. Olenkia grinned, her pupil's eyes excited. She laid twigs and hay on the fire until it rose 5 feet from the oven. Then she wound her way around the shovel used for coal and held it towards Ipsak. "Sit on this shovel," she said, "so I can get you in the oven." Here you have the twisted actual theme, how she looks. Ipsak's mind was clearly no longer made of wood, for the folly that such an action would bring him. He would be baked, so being a clever little person, he only looked confused. "Shovel," he said. "What is a shovel?" "This thing," said Olenkia. She waved the spade in the air. It was already hot from the raging heat of the furnace, and she anxiously placed it down again. "Here, sit on it," she said. "Sit?" said Ipsak. "But I cannot understand your language. What does it mean, so sit?" "Like you would on a chair," said Olenkia, and she tried unsuccessfully to wind herself around a chair and show him. Ipsak only furrowed his brow and looked exceedingly perplexed. "But the shovel is not a chair." "It is like a chair. Here, I will hold it." "Why don't I hold it?" said Ipsak. "And you can show me how to sit on it." This is how she looks. There we go. Well, like her mother, Olenkia was not too clever, for a serpent's brain is as small as a bird's. When she wound herself on the shovel to show Ipsak how to sit on it, they gave one giant heave and pushed her in the oven, then slammed the door shut with his boot shoe. Here you have the horrific imagery. You're not going to see that. Don't worry, I'm going to cover you from that. Presently, the snake returned with her guests. The aromas of Olenkia made them believe that good food was in the oven. "But where is my daughter?" hissed the snake. Annoyed, she waited, but Olenkia did not come to meet them. Eventually, believing her very rude, the snake told her guests to eat. They suffered Olenkia from the oven and ate her, believing her to be Ipsak, and tasting well deliciously of eel as well. Here you have the horrific imagery. The whole time the snake and her guests ate Olenkia. Ipsak had been watching them from a high tree outside the window. Only when they finished and they began to compliment the tenderness of children did he begin to throw stones at the window, which made them look up and see him there. "You have eaten Olenkia," said Ipsak. Here you can see. The snake let out a mighty roar and thrashed at the glass. It shattered, and she and the guests streamed out and surrounded the tree. Here you have the imagery. They gnashed the greasy teeth and whipped their tails at the trunk, but they could not gnaw away the wood, and they could not get Ipsak down. Here we go. Look at him, sneaky little fellow. "Let us go to the blacksmith," cried the snake. All at once they turned and disappeared. At the blacksmith's they asked him to fit them with iron teeth. Fearing their bloodlust and wild temper, the blacksmith complied. The snake and her guests all returned with iron teeth and with the sound of steel. They thrashed once more at the tree trunk and very nearly brought it down. Here you have it. It's a very horrific style, but it gets its point across. Ipsak felt the groaning of the tree. Every class of the creature's iron teeth made the branch he was sitting on lurch with a sickening momentum. Suddenly, Ipsak noticed a flock of swans passing the sky. "Help me!" he cried to the first flock. They ignored him and flew higher. "Help me!" he cried to the second flock. They cast a disinterested glance at the chaos below and continued swiftly on. "Help me, dear swans!" he cried to a third flock. "We are already too late!" they honked. In one of the fleet gliding motion they were gone. The last chance. But there was a swan struggling behind the last pack. He was sick and hungry. He could not keep up with the brethren. "Please help me!" cried Ipsak. The swan began to swing past, but then he felt sorry for the boy. He liked snakes no better than humans did, and circled back. Ipsak clambered onto his soft shoulders, and just as the tree cracked and rammed upwards towards the frenzy, the swan did not fly easily, being already weakened and now carrying a strong young boy. But finally he delivered Ipsak home. It was home. The air smelled of freshly cooking pike
pies, and he could hear his parents talking in the kitchen. He stood at the window and called, "Mother, father, let me in! It is your Isak, little stick!" They recognized his voice instantly and let him in. Seeing the wounded swan beside him, they first believed their son had brought their meat for another pie, but when he told them the majestic bird had saved him, they made him an honored guest. They fed him the best grain, that he might be strong enough to join his own flock, but the swan soon realized that would rather a good home than a good life of daring adventure, and perhaps even the little stick of his own. And so the old man carved a fine wooden egg for the swan, but that is another story. Oh, and look, here you have it. You like that one? I tell you a little story. I think it was like probably Sabby. You can tell me. You can be the judge of that. But yeah, I was thinking of making another channel where I can actually use my like pngtuber, where I can talk about like little stories. And back to the main topic. Here, what I was doing Cleo de Nile, you can tell that I was mostly focusing on how to actually make her correctly. Here, as you can see, I was a little bit struggling with making her, and you can already tell that here I was debating what color to make it. And yeah, pretty much I was debating what to do and what to not to do. But I'll be also making a little bit more of a talk video elsewhere a different time, because this video is really long already. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.